Ahead on Early Birds, here comes anti-hero Patrick Mahomes.
Fires, running, Xavier again, worthy for a touchdown.
We'll break down how the Falcons shake it off against the champs.
Waltzes into the end zone.
Plus, college football teams fill in some blank space on their NIL plans, and Falcon stars make these kids' wildest dreams come true. You belong with us on Early Birds, Fox 5's version.
Grab a cup of your favorite Joe and let's talk Falcons football on Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Good morning and welcome into Early Birds. He's DJ, I'm Justin, and I promise no more Taylor Swift puns from here on out.
Oh my goodness, I just was like, can we get to the game? I know it's going to happen in the game, but we got it right here now open. Oh man, come on.
Come on, Shock. I knew you were trouble.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
There's another Taylor Swift pun.
I don't even know what that
That's what we're here for. Let's get things started with opening drive. Falcons and Chiefs, you guessed it, tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football. And we were getting ready for this show, and I said, all right, Shock, let's talk about Kirk Cousins in the final drive in Philly. And you said, no, let's talk about the offense from the whole game. So what did you see that made you say that?
You know what, I just go back to week one where we saw absolutely not much, and I think we come into week two, and then you can see him moving the football. You see him come out in the second play of the game and go play action. We saw him taking deep shots down the field. We saw the run game get cooking and have over 100 yards in the first half. This was, I thought, one of the more complete efforts by the offense, and I thought this was an offense that I thought that we would see from game one. So to see it come in game two on Monday Night Football, I was like, we got to give everybody love. Offensive line blocked well, receivers blocked. And, of course, you know, Kirk in the backs and everybody on the outside got it done, too.
I'll tell you what, Shock, Kirk Cousins says there were little things throughout the game in Philly that showed him as well things are progressing.
Completed a pass to Drake that was not a good throw. I think it was early in the game. It was a low ball. Should have been a better throw. He could have run through it and had a bigger gain. And he went down and got it, made a great catch. And I went up to him right after the play and I said, terrible throw, Drake. You know, what a great catch. Good job, you know, bailing me out. And his answer back was, Kirk, we're just building this.
Yeah, interesting. So that was a great soundbite from Kirk right there. As we continue on the opening drive, the Chiefs have an okay quarterback as well, I guess. I don't know. What do you think about this guy, Shock?
He's decent if you like winning championships and stuff. I mean, I guess that's a decent thing, you know. But he's one of those guys that over the years always finds a way, regardless of what he has around him, regardless of how the game's going. If he has a chance to win it at the end, most times he comes up with that. He's a three-time Super Bowl champ for a reason, and it's a reason why Mahomes is playing at a super, super high level even to start this season. And head coach Raheem Morris gives my man Patrick Mahomes the ultimate compliment.
He's smart. He's unique. He can move around. He can buy time. He can play within the framework of the system. He can see. He knows what you're doing on defense. He's just one of the best. I mean, I don't even know. He's an alien, you know, so to speak. He's those guys that you consider and put him in that alien type light. And yeah, he's the best. He's one of the best, Alex.
Yeah, alien in the nicest way possible. And as we wrap up the opening drive, Falcons are living in prime time. You had last week, you got tomorrow night, and then Thursday night in a couple weeks against the Bucs coming up. So, Shock, what kind of opportunity is that to make a statement?
I think it's a reason they wanted to put you on prime time because they expected you to play well. And you do it the first time on Monday Night Football. Now you have another chance to go out and do it on Sunday night versus one of the teams that everybody feels has been the staple of the last few years. And now you get a chance to prove why the naysayers say you should not be on it. But here's a great chance for you to know what? Hey, we belong in prime time. People want to see these Falcons, and we deserve to be here.
Yeah, it should be a fun one to watch. Falcons and Chiefs tomorrow night inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Welcome into Early Birds alongside DJ Shockley. I'm Justin Felder. And you and I talked last week before the Eagles game. The pressure on Atlanta's interior O-line against Jalen Carter, and the Eagles held up pretty well, but now they got to deal with one of the best in the business in Chris Jones.
Chris Jones been doing it for I don't know how many years, and he has always been a problem. He is number one on the list when you say, okay, who do we have to stop? Where's the game plan start? It starts with number 95 because he can absolutely erect the entire game plan no matter what's outside. He can create problems for you.
All right, Shock, you can't dwell on the last win. As a famous man from Kansas City said, you've got to be a goldfish. Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso from Kansas City.
Okay.
No more Taylor Swift. I promise no more Taylor Swift.
I like that. I did watch a little Lasso, though.
All right, we'll get back to you in a moment. But first, it might go down as one of the moments of the season. Drake London's final minute go-ahead touchdown against the Eagles and his priceless reaction. London is confident this offense is on the way to doing big things. He spoke one-on-one with our Kelly Price this week.
I wanted to see if you've seen the angle that he actually shot of your touchdown and your like reaction to it, which was just like the one where he's like right up in your face and you're just so in disbelief.
Yeah.
Did you know that there was like a camera in front of you, or is this just totally a natural reaction, like you couldn't even believe what had just happened?
No, that was actually on purpose. That was due to the crowd. Was like, oh my gosh, like nobody expected us going in there to win the game. They was gonna think it was like an easy win. So when we got the opportunity and the chance, I was kind of in the back of my head, but I was more so worried about just going down there. Whoever scores gets to do what they do. But in that moment, I got the opportunity to score. Kirk put it perfectly, and then I just looked at the crowd like, oh my God, like what happened? So that's where that stemmed from.
And I know obviously last week there was a lot of talk, a lot of chatter about Kirk and all that kind of stuff. But seeing him respond in that way, especially in the time when it mattered most, what was it like for you as a team and an offense to see that?
I mean, we always know, and we've been knowing since the day he stepped foot into this building that Kirk is Kirk, and he's a hell of a player. So again, when we got the opportunity and we got it back, nobody blinked, especially him, and he loves those moments. As much as he doesn't show it sometimes, he loves those moments. So to see him go out there and do that was huge for us confidence-wise, and I know it was huge for him confidence-wise, especially what happened last week or what people think happened last week.
Were there any like that moments that we didn't all get to see as the public or anything?
No, I'm just sad I missed the opportunity coming into the locker room to say it. That's it. That's it.
I know it's almost easier to be mad after a loss to want to get that win, but how do you keep that success going after a win and after one that ended so crazy?
Yeah, just keep it going, because last week that feeling was not good, and you don't want to keep on feeling that week in and week out. You don't want to ride a roller coaster, and we just want to keep on trending in the right direction, and I think this will be a good building block going forward.
It's time to get some game intel from Shock. You're invited into the film room, so cut the lights and let's get started.
Well, since we're talking Drake, we have to break down that last play of the game, right? I mean, it was probably one that Falcons fans are going to remember for a long time. Let's talk about why it was successful. Now, this is where it starts. Drake starts right here in this bunch. Now, when you're in this bunch set, it forces the defensive backs to play off, which is exactly what you want. So give Zach Robinson a lot of credit for this formation. Then he's going to send them in motion. Once he goes in motion, that forces this defensive back to widen, which is Slate. He's a guy who's very smart, very heady, understands routes, understands formations. And in this formation, most of the time when he comes in motion here, let's watch it. So once he goes in motion here, you watch him expand, and then the route comes. What happens at the top of this route, usually what happens is a lot of teams run what's called a glance route or a slant route, and he ends up going right across his face here. So he's running this kind of route, and he jumps inside. You got a guy who is holding this defender. You got him coming across, usually like a double post kind of concept that holds this safety. But when he jumps inside, what he does at the top of this route is unbelievable here. He puts his foot in the ground, and you see Slate, who is a headed guy, jumps inside, and now it creates the separation you want on the outside. Now, it's a great play by Drake, absolutely great route, but let's watch it from the back end. Here's the absolute jump. Boom, that step right here. This is the step you love, and that's why he jumped inside, and now you get to create the separation. Unbelievable job by Drake. Unbelievable job by Kirk getting the football to him. This was an excellent play. These guys continue to play at a high level, Justin. We hope to have even more highlights like this come the rest of the season.
Yeah, Shock, great breakdown. One little subtle step, the difference in that case maybe between winning and losing. Thanks, Shock. We got more to come on Early Birds. Georgia State makes a statement win, a new SEC rivalry, and a big change on the NIL front that will impact our whole state. Michael Jenkins here to break it all down. Plus,
first you got to watch the film and study like what moves first. You've been playing football for so long, you kind of just, it's almost like a sixth sense, of course, to kind of just like, okay, they're about to snap it, and like you go.
A sixth sense for sacks. Zach Harrison will explain when we go deep.
You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Best, nothing. And sponsored by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. And the Home Depot. How doers get more done. More Early Birds coming back at you. Early Birds. It's not Saturday down south without talking college football. Brought to you by Zaxby's, Famous Fingers and Sauces. Here's Shock.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We got to talk some college football. Get my man Michael Jink. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Got another big-time week of college football ahead of us. And let's start with our man Dale McGee and the Georgia State Panthers. I'm talking about going to get a win last week versus Vandy. I mean, when you have a win like this, they go beat 36-32. What can a win like this do for that program and then a new coach in his first year?
Yeah, it's huge. Shock, kudos to you guys in the SEC. Everybody wants to beat any team from the SEC. So for Georgia State and Coach McGee and those guys to get that win, it's huge for the program, especially with all the guys that's transferred out, that's transferred in. They've gotten guys from Clemson, from Pitt to come in and commit to Georgia State, and it's paying off. Coach
McGee is a guy that I know at Georgia was a fiery guy. Knew he would do a great job, but to go beat an SEC team is pretty cool. Quarterback had a good day, 269 yards, 3 touchdowns. Running back had 96 yards. Receiver had 128. I mean, everybody chipped in for that big-time win, and they can only build on this for sure. All right, let's talk about a situation that happened earlier this week that was pretty big. Earlier this week, Governor Kemp signed an executive order providing temporary protection for the state's colleges and universities regarding NIL. Now, schools in the state can directly pay their student athletes. What were your thoughts when you first heard this, and do you like it?
I mean, I'm always for the players getting paid. I'm just interested to see how this really plays out, because now you got faculty and staff that's going to look like, hey, some of these guys are making more money than me. Yeah. And we teach at this institution, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this all really plays out.
Do you think there's an advantage of, okay, now there's an incentive for guys, say at the end of the year, you say, all right, I want to make sure a guy stays around for a bowl game. And now a school can say, if you stay around for a bowl game, we'll give you another $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah, think that's big? I think just in the overall landscape, there has to be some type of regulation to, keep players playing for the bowl games. Yeah. There just needs to be a little bit more structure, and I think it will come in due time.
So you think a cap is coming?
I think it will come.
Ooh, we'll see about that. That should be interesting. All right, let me get your thoughts on a big game going down in Norman tonight. Tennessee going on the road to face Oklahoma. We talk about Tennessee quarterback Nico. I'm just going to say Nico.
Yeah, well, I can't say the last name. You try it.
He's starting to gain some steam because of his play. Your thoughts on him and how you think this game goes down?
I mean, he's been playing at an unbelievable clip, obviously, to start the year off. And, some would say they haven't really played anybody. They did play NC State team, but they hung 51 on them. Yeah. So, but in the SEC, on the road, things change. So they're going to face a team. Oklahoma's like, hey, we're 3-0, we're undefeated. Coach Brett Venables has a great defense usually in place. And then it's going to be pretty cool to see Venables versus Heupel. Those guys were on staff together. Heupel won a national championship for Oklahoma, as a player. So there's going to be a lot of interesting things going on in this game.
Man, that's a good call. Do you think this is a statement game for both teams? Like, okay, if you're going to get a win versus Tennessee or versus Oklahoma, it sets you up for, all right, let's start thinking about this team as a national contender now.
Oh, of course. Whoever wins this game kind of has a leg up, obviously, of getting into that 12-team playoff, of being a true contender in the SEC and taking on teams like Georgia and Alabama.
Man, it's going to be interesting. Should be a good one coming on tonight at 7:30. Should be a big one. Jake, your Buckeyes okay today versus the Thunder and Herd?
I think we'll be all right.
You think so?
Yeah.
You got a nice dub coming on?
Yeah.
All right, Justin, we know your Gators are taking on another set of Bulldogs in Mississippi State. I'm going to ask you every week how you feeling this week.
We have to do this every week?
Yes.
Can we stop after this week? I am feeling like it might already be basketball season in the Felder household, but we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise me. I would love to see that, guys. Great stuff. Thank you so much. Well, my favorite segment here on Early Birds is called Going Deep, where a Falcons player explains how they do what we see them do on TV. Now, any edge on a defense for the defense getting to Patrick Mahomes would be huge, even if it's just an extra tenth of a second getting off the line of scrimmage. A lot goes into getting off the snap as quickly as possible. D-lineman Zach Harrison explains in this week's Going Deep.
What are ways that you quickly get off the snap?
And he will be sacked. Zach Harrison.
First, you got to watch the film and study what moves first, because a lot of offensive linemen in the league they're good, so they're gonna know the snap count, try to get a jump on that just like we are. So they might move as the ball moves, move a little bit before the ball moves. So you got to figure out what on the line moves first, and then once you kind of get a key on that, it's really just more of a feel thing. Kind of know what you're looking at, and then you kind of just you've been playing football for so long, you kind of just it's almost like a sixth sense, of course, to kind of just okay, they're about to snap it, and you go. But I practice that in the off season, so whenever I'm with my D-line coach or whatever, they have the ball, I'm always practicing jumping the snap count while there's no consequences. I'm just running sprints, so it's kind of just like a feel thing. You kind of do a bunch of reps over and over again.
Is this something that has changed once you got into league, or is that kind of how you've always approached it?
Definitely once I got to the NFL, it's become more important just because everybody's so much like better and so much more technical. It's kind of that puts another emphasis on getting off the ball faster. That makes it a lot more important. So definitely I take more time to study that in the NFL I did in college. In college I just relied on the feel of it, whereas in the NFL it's kind of like, okay, like I know what I'm looking at, where my eyes supposed to be. I know this is going to move first. So this is what I'm watching as I get off the ball.
Ooh, great insight. We'll see if he can find his way to Mr. Mahomes on Sunday. Well, more to come on Early Birds, the moment right after an injury. That's crucial for the Falcons medical staff. Hopefully they don't need to put these skills to use anytime soon. The Falcons head team doctor will explain next on Early Birds.
Going Deep is brought to you by Zaxby's, famous fingers and sauces. We're getting your Saturday started right. Early Birds is back in a moment.
Well, just like the players on the field, NFL medical teams never know the moment that they're going to be called upon to act. The first few moments after an injury on the field happens, that's usually all we get to see on the TV or if you're at the game, and those minutes can be incredibly important. That's the focus of this week's Emory Road to Recovery.
Yeah, when we run out onto the field, whether it's at practice or whether it's on a game day, we are getting to that athlete first, and we are assessing that athlete just like it's an emergency. We don't know what happens. Obviously, we're watching the game, we're paying attention. We may have seen what happened, but we have to first and foremost get to that athlete and make sure that we're doing our ABCs, so to speak, our airway, our breathing, our circulation. We have to be like an emergency response team in that instance. We need to also be calm. We also need to be confident, and we need to reassure the athlete that we're there to take care of them and that everything's going to be okay. And once we've assessed what's going on, then we can start to kind of, decide what do we need to do. Is this truly an emergency that we need to act on right then and there? And again, quickly, we are prepared to do that. We prepare for that and practice that every year. Or is this a simple, small orthopedic injury that we're going to be able to quickly assess and walk off the field? We know how to kind of run out there quickly and efficiently take care of that athlete.
Doc is always on. More to come on Early Birds. The Falcons found time to hang out with some special young fans this week. We'll tell you about it after the break.
You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz, on your official home for Falcons football, Fox 5 Atlanta. Early Birds has been presented to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
It's not, because we won or because we lost, I'm not coming. I signed up for it, and this is something I wanted to do.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite events that the Falcons do every year in the community. Shock is visiting Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. September, Childhood Cancer and Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta treats the most cancer patients in Georgia. And Shock, Matthew Judon, Kareem Khalid from the Falcons as well, went to visit after they got back from that trip to see.
And that's what I was just thinking. They got back really late, 4 or 5 a.m., and they was up the next morning. It just shows you that these guys are more than just football players. These guys care about other people, and you see the smiles on those kids' faces when they walked in the room. So kudos to those two guys for brightening the day for those kids who are going through some tough times.
And you said they probably got home, 6, 7 in the morning. So cool that they still stuck to that commitment. All right, Falcons and Chiefs tomorrow night. One more matchup to watch.
We have to be good, especially from top down on the back end. Rashae Rice, who leads him with 12 catches. Nobody else has close to that. Next closest guy is 7, and that's Pacheco, who's not playing.
Right.
So we got to make sure you know what he is, and can't let Xavier Worthy get on the back of us either. He is a fast guy. So I think we got to play good on the back end.
A little bit of speed right there. Maybe take a lead in the final few seconds, or a good enough lead that you don't get hometown guy Harrison Butker having any say in this. He's got a knack for those heroics, the Georgia Tech guy. Take that out of the equation. All right, that's it for us on Early Birds. For DJ Shockley, I'm Justin Felder. Remember, Dirty Bird Report Sunday night, 12:30 a.m. Shock will be there. Make sure you're there as well. Have a good morning and a great weekend.